The Champions League draw was this morning, and now we know who we have in the next round. We're here to chop it up. It's your favorite show of the week. It's the Kopish Kollab. Let's get into it, people.
Hi, this is Jordan Henderson, and you're watching Team Kop-Ish.
See, now you're tuning in. It's the main free back again. Ripping LFC till the end, so go on, tell a friend. If they rockin' red, they're a 10 champions. We the best, we come again. Kopish clean up in every region. Elevation in every season. Cal dropping all the fast match, up in real rap. And Drifty go on, tell them this is that, this is that. This is Kopish. This is Kopish. Reppin' Liverpool to the end, champions, we the best, come again. This is that. This is Kop-Ish. This is Kop-Ish. The main free back up in your screen, real ones know this the place to be. This is Kop-Ish.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another Friday edition of Kopish Kollab. You already know what time it is. Before we get into it, though, people, please make sure you like, hype, subscribe, do all that good stuff. We are on the road to 50,000, so help us get there and get on the way. And as you guys know already, we are sponsored by okjersey.com, the best place to get your football shirts, especially now with these World Cup shirts that are out, guys. I'm telling you, it's all good. Make sure you go and check it out. The barcode in the top left, the QR code, make sure you scan that. It will take you straight through, or the link is in the description. And don't forget to use the code Kopish so they know you came through us, and to get yourselves an extra 8% off. Cal, Tom, what's happening, boys? Everyone looks a little bit down. Let's perk the spirits up, people. I know you're not feeling too well, Cal, so obviously. But yeah,
I'm all right. It's a Friday.
How are we feeling this afternoon?
I'm good, mate. I'm just counting down the hours until I get to go out drinking.
Oh gosh, Tom, this nutter. But I hear it. People are gonna think I've got the bloody fire alarm now with my heater having the same bib thing like you, Cal. People look, who's got the fire alarm? But no, boys. Let's get into the crux of it, and then I'm sure there'll be a few other things that we will touch on, a couple of bits of transfer news and stuff like that we will talk about. But why not talk about what is most important? Big up everyone who joined me for the morning show as well this morning while we unveiled live as the draw was done. We had a blast earlier on talking about what's going on. Let's get into it, man. So I'll start with Tom. We've got Galatasaray. I think we can all agree the easier of the two teams, if we're trying to be as honest as possible. We definitely would have had a harder game against Atletico. I think most of us would agree. Or do you disagree, Tom? I don't know. Do you think Galatasaray is the easier of the two?
I think they're about on par with each other. I mean, we lost to Galatasaray in the league stage, didn't we? So they're not like an easy team to get past. They done well against Juve. I know they made the second leg a lot harder than it needs to be, but they done well, all things considered, against them to go through. The draw is what it is. It is what it is. There's more annoyance about it because of what happened last year and who we got last year. I would have preferred to be on the other side. I think everyone would have preferred to be on the other side because you wouldn't have to play every Champions League winner from the last 10 years because that's who's on our side of the draw. I was telling Drift before you were here, Cal, that if you go through the last 10 Champions League winners, every single one of them is on that side of the draw. Yeah, they're on that side. So there's you'd be an idiot for not wanting to be on the other side. I wish in an ideal world I was on the other side, but it is what it is. But Galatasaray, you across two legs you should get past. Then you got one of PSG or Chelsea. Now Chelsea did beat PSG last time they played each other, and PSG really haven't been all that great this year. They scraped past a really poor Monaco team that, unironically start Wout Fires at centre back in the Champions League. So I don't win
both games as well.
So I don't think PSG are that same titan they were last year. Now, albeit my manager has a weird kink for them, so he could just bend over, which would worry me. There was no pause needed. I meant it in exactly the way I said it then. But I think you get Chelsea. We got a chance. We got a good chance progressing. And you've got one of Real Madrid, Manchester City, Bayern Munich, or who's the other one? Atalanta. all really shit teams for us, all things considered. Bayern is the one I want to avoid most. I just think that Arne Slot might try and overthink that one. But it is what look, if you want to win the Champions League, you have to beat the best teams at some point. And we know that that's really our only hope of getting anything out this season. And there's ways of looking at it. I mean, like I said, I would have preferred to be on the other side of the draw. You know, I would have had Atletico Madrid, then Barcelona, Newcastle. I think you can beat them, even though I think Barca's a bit of a dodgy one, but you can beat them. Then one of Bodo Glimt, Arsenal, Sporting, or Bayer Leverkusen. Like, there's no lying and there's no glossing over the fact it's the easy side of the draw. But I just don't like this format of the draw anyway. I think I said that last year. I don't like it. I miss the days when it was a unique draw every round, where you'd go into the round 16 and you could draw any other team. Then you'd get to the quarterfinals and you could draw any other team, rather than it being, well, you can only play them, then them, then them. You can't imagine if Arsenal or like we got past Galatasaray and the draw happens and we get Barca. We can't play Barca unless they make the final and we make the final. Odds of that happening aren't great. If we could have drawn them in the quarterfinals, it's the draw. And I think that was a much better format of doing things. So maybe I'm old-fashioned in that sense. Maybe this is more like the NBA playoffs and that. But I think it's a format that works for basketball and that doesn't work for the Champions League, in my opinion. So I wish it was the old format. But look, the draw is what it is. We should be making the quarterfinal at an absolute minimum, and then Arne Slot's got opportunities to show himself as to how we can be the manager for next year. Because if he gets past PSG, then he gets past Bayern Munich, then he goes to the final against Arsenal and gets the job done there. I can't exactly go, yeah, you need to fuck off now. I have to sit there and at least give him another year. So it's an opportunity to present.
No, you don't. You don't. No, sorry, you don't have to give him another year. You actually don't have to give him another year.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. You don't.
If Arne Slot gets top 4 and wins me a Champions League this year, I find it very hard to get rid of him. It doesn't help as well though that the manager I want is he's in the shit situation this summer. Nagelsmann wouldn't come until mid-July, late July.
Oh, who gives a damn, bro? There's other managers out there.
I don't want the other managers. So how about that? I don't want the other managers. I don't want them. I don't want
keep going through your pain in it.
No, because which other managers? Cal, you're a smart man. You're a smart man. I don't give you many compliments, but I'll give you this one. You're a smart man. You understand as well as I do that if they wanted Xabi Alonso,
Luis Enrique. I mean,
no idea if Luis Enrique is even available. We just go on about Luis Enrique like he's available.
Look, do you know what? Paul,
there are rumors.
If you win the Champions League, let's just keep Slot forever in it.
Who said that? I said another year.
Who?
I never. By the way, Cal, I never said give him a new contract. I just said he gets another year. He then has to prove. He then has to earn his contract again.
No, cool. And how long does he get then? Because halfway through the season, he won the Champions League. You can't really get rid of him now. No, done with it. Like no. See you later.
No. Again, you've got to see how it goes. I mean,
so how long do you give him, Tom?
So Cal, you're just sitting there going, even if he wins the Champions League, but what if he puts together one of the greatest Champions League runs in this knockout stage? He batters PSG. He batters Galatasaray, deals with them. Then he gets last year's champions PSG, plays them off the park, gets the job done in fantastic fashion. We're talking a 3-0, 4-0 aggregate win. Then he gets any one of Real Madrid, Man City, or Bayern, 3 of the favourites going into the tournament, dispatches them 5-1 on aggregate. Then he gets to the final and wins 4-1 in the final. And you're sitting there at the end of that going, fuck off.
No, I wouldn't say F off. I'd say big up, man. You done great to win us his trophy, but best of luck with everything in the future.
So you're doing... I appreciate you, but fuck off. That's basically what you're doing.
I'm not going to use F off, but I'm just going to say big up. Right, cheers, bro.
Here's the thing, guys. It doesn't matter what we think.
He's had a bad season. He's pissed me off unbelievably. But I find it very hard to get rid of a guy who wins a Premier League and the Champions League in his first 2 seasons. I'm a lot more cautious with him, but I find it very hard to get rid of him, Cal.
Cool. No, that's your opinion, innit? Who am I? What's the point, innit? We're winning everything, innit? Slot's the king, can do no wrong, innit? Just a bad season.
Here's the thing, though, guys.
So I see it here, Cal. Because Hassan's not on the panel yet, you've decided to take the role of Toxic Hassan and just
no. Ask Matt and Drift. When it comes to this whole Slot situation, I don't give an F anymore. I can't believe there's such a willingness to give this guy more and more opportunities, and just like the whole, if he wins the Champions League, he gets another season. I don't care. We won the Premier League last season. Nunes helped us win the Premier League. I didn't hear anyone screaming, let's keep Nunes because he helped us win the league. No, we wanted to get rid because we wanted better. It's the same thing with the manager. What are we doing here? The guy has pissed about the whole season.
The principles are a little bit different to that, bro.
He won't take accountability for anything, but yeah, let's keep him. No, let's do it. Man.
Remember, we spoke about this yesterday on Jamie's show. Big up Jamie. This is where I think it becomes a difference of what would be professionally okay, and then the personal part. Because you don't like him anymore, because Matt doesn't like him anymore. I get it. You just don't want him here anymore.
I like Liverpool.
I don't care about liking him. I just don't think he's good enough.
Winning a Champions League automatically qualifies you to be allowed to start the following season.
No,
it just does. Like,
no, it doesn't. No, that's emotion. That's emotion. No, because let's do logic. Let's do logic. Let's do logic and not emotion. Logic. Hear me out. This Premier League season has been catastrophic. We're defending champions. We spent a ton of money, and we are now struggling for top 5. Now, let's say he wins the Champions League, which is an almighty competition. Don't get twisted.
The biggest competition you can win in club football.
All right, hear me out. But that doesn't take away what you've done before. It's like if you're at work, bro.
Oh, win the Premier League.
Hear me out. You've been at work all year, yeah? Then you get to your last project. You've had 9 projects all year. You get to your 10th one. You do amazing. Your employer can still say to you, bro, do you know what? You've done amazing for this last project, but you see the other 9 that you've had, they weren't good enough. And here's the thing, Drift, yeah? I fully understand it sounds harsh because you're talking about winning the trophy. You're talking about winning the Champions League. But the problem is, though, we could still win the Champions League, be amazing for that competition, then go revert back to type next year. And then we have to go back to do the same thing all over again. And waste even more time.
Of course, that
you know what I'm saying?
I get where you're
why was this narrative not done last season, though? Because...
What's that?
So we're saying that even if he wins the Champions League, fantastic achievement is what it is. It doesn't take away from the failure in the league. Don't disagree. Last year we won the league, and it seems to take away the failure in the Champions League of failing to get past the round of 16, despite finishing top of the group.
No.
Premier League is your bread and butter. You defend your crown, right? That's your bread and butter. So before a season starts. Before a season starts, the first thing we care about, surely, is Premier League. Because no one would sit there and say, I want to win the Champions League, but then you're finishing, I'll give an example, Spurs or whatever, or 7th or 8th. That's not acceptable for Liverpool. Here's my thing, yeah?
But we're not going to finish 7th or 8th.
And not only that, your Premier League campaign is more proof of who you are rather than a cup competition. Even though I know it's called Champions League. And this is my thing, Tom. It's because we've been so bad. If we was like in 2nd or 3rd and we weren't that far off, I would hear no. Me personally, I would hear that. But we're not. We're a long way off. Long way. And what I worry about is we give the manager more time, more resources, and we'll go back to the Prem next year and we're having the same conversation again. And bro, no one wants to go through this again.
But you know, by that premise, we should have.
You don't. But I feel like it's very harsh to just
Rafa's not on the same at all. Rafa never came into a squad that was brilliant and then added onto a squad. Like, what are we doing?
That's why are we tarring?
It's not besides the point. That is the point.
Why are we tarring Arnie Scott with the brush of this is what he is in the league now?
Had you know what I mean, and all them things that we're labeling Slot with, that was a criticism of Rafa. He's not good with the people. He's not a good player. He don't put his arm around the
had like 2 quality players in his team. Come on, we're not comparing. Rafa
no, the squad he had was worse, of course. But the point is, the point remains. it is still the same principle. A manager who's not good at management, a manager who was like, saying weird things or whatever.
Was Rafa Benitez good tactically?
Yeah, he was good tactically.
Yeah.
But
So
we're
they're not
terrible in the
tactician
league.
we probably ever had.
We were terrible in the league that season.
It was his first season in the league. He lost his main striker.
I was going to say 2005. Michael Owen left. Are you forgetting?
In the league and he won
We
it.
got Antonio Nunes and a packet of crisps, bro. Are you forgetting what happened that year?
No, I'm not saying we should have sacked Rafa. I'm saying based on the logic you lot are saying of poor in the league but win a cup, you've got to go.
Bruv, what is the context around why Rafa was poor in the league?
There's no comparison.
You do realise that
the problem I've got
achievement though.
The problem I've got is that
it's not a massive achievement, but
the embarrassment of riches.
The way it's being spoken about with Arnie Slot.
If Rafa came into the squad that Klopp left, would Rafa have won the league?
Probably, yeah.
All right then, so cool. So there's no comparison then.
But all we're doing is taking away Slot's achievement by making.
No, we're not. You just tried to compare Rafa and Slot. Would Slot have gone back in 2005? Would Slot have gone into that team in the Champions League and would he have won it with Liverpool?
Hell no, we know this though.
Well, considering he won the league in his first year, I don't know.
He could have done.
You lot are being way too dismissive. This is what I'm saying. It's just a hate
this guy
thing.
way too much.
I get it. You lot hate him now. Like,
no, you keep saying it's about a person.
No, we don't hate him. You don't hate him, brother. I just don't think he's good enough. Just because you think someone might not be good enough, it doesn't make you hate them or detest them.
I'm going to be honest with you.
I'm going to be honest. If I can give a man credit for winning the league and doing what he's done, I've said that. I've also said I'm not taking away him winning the league and doing the whole it was Klopp's team, so therefore it's Klopp that would. No, he won the league. He made the adaptations to make us win that league, bro. I will always give him credit for that. But what it is though is that you can get to the end of your tenure and go, do you know what? Yeah, this guy has put us through hell this season. Yeah. And he's had many of times to make changes, Drift. This is the thing. It's not like, and he's gaslit us as well, you know. He will say things and say things like, we weren't really that bad. It's just a bit margins. It's like, brother, are we watching the same game?
Yeah,
we have been terrible.
I agree.
And again, when a manager is caught up in his own ideologies and thinks it's his way or no way, and not only that, you're not getting results, you're not getting performances, but then now you're telling me if we win a Champions League, he's now suddenly going to change his way. I don't see that happening, bro. I think in an ideal world, you're thinking he's going to go back to the first season, Arnie Slot. And if he did, we wouldn't have any conversation.
Why couldn't he? So this is the part that gets me. We go,
okay, go on.
So he wins the Champions League and he finishes 4th this season. What's to say he's going to revert back? I'm not saying he's going to revert back to what he was in his first year, but I'm also not saying it's going to be the same shambles it was this year. I think there's a very good middle ground for Liverpool to sit in under this manager. At the end of the day, if he wins the Champions League this season, I won't ignore what he's done in the league, but I will at least accept the fact that he's now shown me he knows how to win a league title and he knows how to win a Champions League competing against the very best. So at that point in time, I'm going to sit there and go, what do I think the average is? What do I think an average Arnie Slot season is? Because guess what? Most managers stand by their principles. If Arnie Slot wins a Champions League this year, after winning the Premier League last year, I don't want him to now suddenly change up exactly how he manages. He's clearly decent at something. He fucked up in the league. This season.
But he's changed from last year to this year.
Yes, because we had to.
Tom,
whether we wanted to or not,
go on. I'll let you land. Go on.
We had to change because we don't have the players to play that way anymore. We don't have the players. We've got better players to play a different style of football. We don't have the players to play the same way as last year because last year we had players that had a different mentality and a different mindset in how they worked off the ball. I could not ask Hugo Ekitike or Alexander Isak to press in the way Nunes. Or
not disagreeing with you, but I'm not disagreeing with anything that you said. The only thing I will say is you can make changes and you don't have to be scrapping for top 5.
He has made changes.
The embarrassment of riches that we have at our squad, we are the champions, bro. Shall I be honest with you? Shall I tell you the reality? we arguably are the worst defending champions we have ever seen.
No, we're not.
Yes, we have. In recent memory, we are.
Chelsea finished fucking 12th.
In recent memory, the embarrassment of riches that we have had, money spent, Tom. Look at the profile. We have Florian Wirtz. We have. I know Isak hasn't played football. Look at us. Look at the quality of players that we have. We've been terrible, bro.
We have been terrible. We're not the worst defending champions, you see.
We're okay then. If we're one of the worst, we should be in that conversation.
Sure, you can have that.
Why should we be in that conversation? This is what I don't understand. It's almost like saying
because we've had a bad season throughout the club. No, I won't argue that we've had a bad season throughout the club as it stands. If we
Tom, is it bad or is it horrific?
It's a really bad season. It can go either way at this point because we're still in another fucking competition.
Tom, we still might. All right, how about this? Because there's still variables. We still definitely might not make top 5. And to your lot's point about Champions League,
top 5.
So remember, what do you think's more likely to happen? Liverpool win the Champions League and finish in the top 5, or Liverpool not winning the Champions League and not finishing in the top 5? What's more realistic to you with this manager and this team?
The first one. I don't see a world where we don't get top 5. So I'd say that the one.
No. You didn't hear what I said though. The first one.
I did.
But that means you're allowing yourself to win the Champions League as well.
Yes, I am. Because I think that it is a near-on guarantee we get top 5 this year.
Why is it a guarantee?
Because I think that Chelsea are worse than us and have this and are going through a transition. I think that Villa are going to end up being distracted by another competition, and that will cause a fall off in the league.
Sorry to cut you.
I think we are more ready made to handle.
Why are Chelsea worse than us?
They've got a worse manager. They've got worse players.
No, guys. Please on the real. Just hear my question and answer it.
I'm answering it.
They've got
a worse manager. They've got worse players. They've got less experience. They've got less quality. All of that.
Couldn't we say that about Man United? But why did it doesn't apply to them?
Man United's big advantage is they're playing 1 game a week.
So they've got one advantage. So that one advantage should make them be better than us.
It's a big advantage 1 game a week.
But do you get what I'm saying?
So hold on. No, let me get this straight.
I know you're talking about Chelsea. I don't talk about Chelsea. I'm just saying it's frustrating because even though I agree with you, what makes it worse is that the same thing applies to Man United, except for they are playing 1 game in a week. Look at what they're doing.
But I think United are better than Chelsea, and I still think
United are better than Chelsea. Yeah.
I still think we can finish. I think Chelsea are the worst out of this group. Like I think Chelsea are the one that will fall. They're the ones that will fall away out of any of us. I think that you've got to look as well at Villa. They had the Europa League draw. They've got a tough Europa League draw, but they've got a chance of winning that. Do you think Unai Emery is going to sacrifice a Europa League? I don't think he is. I think that's that. We talk about the league's bread and butter. That's that man's bread and butter. So I look at that and go, there's doors that are going to open.
I tell you what my frustration is when we say things like Chelsea aren't very good or Villa might slip away, is the notion that Liverpool can't make those same issues and have those same issues.
Liverpool could.
This is what I'm saying. That's never mentioned. It's always, we'll make it because Chelsea aren't good or Villa are going to get distracted. What about Liverpool? What if we get distracted by Champions League and FA Cup? What if we get more injuries? What if the manager doesn't fix his act? There's never an objective conversation around it. It's always I will do it because Chelsea are rubbish or Villa are rubbish. No, let's have an objective chat because we act like we've actually been good this season when we haven't. Because if we were good, we wouldn't be on the same points as a terrible Chelsea. So why?
Yeah,
why
is
overwhelming? Because Liverpool are going to do it, but Chelsea won't.
Because all of us can have the good or bad, which I agree with you. What we're doing is we're just using the logic of, but we're the better team.
But that's not logic.
So if you apply the logic that the same thing can happen to everybody, you would argue that the better team would normally be the one who would come out on top of that.
No, but that's not logic because again, if you're just talking about teams, the variables in terms of injuries, management selection, fixture list pile-ups and all this, that's not taken into consideration. We've got a better squad than Villa, we've got a better squad than Man United, a better squad than Chelsea. People at the beginning of the season said we had a better squad than Arsenal. Where were we in the table? We're behind all of these teams.
Yeah.
Brentford don't have a better squad than Newcastle.
You're talking about currently. Like they're actually suffering with those injuries right now.
So it's not just about the players. It's about how the players are utilised. It's about how the manager selects. It's about everything. And We've been so inconsistent this season. The manager's been so poor. I can't sit here with chest and go, we're going to finish above all these teams. I can't, because I've got nothing to back that claim up. Nothing at all.
Yes, you do. You've got a manager who's better than Rafinha and a squad that's better than Chelsea's.
But they're still in the same league position as us, Drift.
Yeah, but they've got mad injury. Have you seen the run they're on now, Cav? Have you seen their fixtures in the league?
Yeah, but your boys on form. Your boys on form.
They're going to get tired as well. They went to a
Ain't Jean Pedro on really good form right now?
All right, Ekitike is going to get tired. Which other striker is going to come in for him?
Well, hopefully we'll have Isak back in a month.
What, after a broken leg, just hitting the ground running like that, yeah?
No, I'm not saying he's going to hit the ground running, but he's back in training without the ball at the moment. Hopefully by the end of March, we'll have him back on the...
Sweden won him for the internationals. Which
Salah and Gakpo can't do any wing play at the moment, it seems.
Yep.
Verts has gone injury we don't really know about.
Yep.
But he's our creative.
It's bad on our
yeah,
of course
but the manager could adapt, as he has done at points this season. Because you'd be lying if you said he hasn't adapted. Has he done it well enough?
He's made changes. He hasn't really adapted this season. Because if he had adapted, we'd be doing better than what we are this season, right?
But he has adapted and situations have come in. I'm not absolving him of blame, but I'm also not going to put it solely on him. There have been circumstances out of his control which have fucked him. He went to a diamond when Salah was at AFCON, and it worked, and we were playing great, and then all of a sudden his other striker breaks his leg, and he now can no longer play the diamond the team had been working on and was playing well in. He could no longer play the diamond because he didn't have a striker.
He could play the diamond. That's a lie.
Who could he play? Who could he play up front, Cal? Who could he play up front?
Who did he play in the Brighton game when Isak was injured?
He didn't play. Isak was on the bench in the Brighton game anyway. Salah was there.
Oh, so he played Salah and Ekitike as a front two?
No, he didn't. He started in a Christmas tree. He started in a 4-3-2-1. He played all five midfielders.
And then who came off the bench?
Salah came on for the injured Joe Gomez, and we went to a 4. It was like a 4-3-3-4, 4-2-3-1. We didn't do the diamond because Salah was wider. I was at the game, Cal. I remember it. And then Salah goes to AFCON. Bear in mind, Gakpo's injured at this point. Gakpo doesn't come back until January. So we have no Gakpo. So even as crap as Gakpo's been, he doesn't have Gakpo as option. So he can't use him. He is down to Ekitike and he is down to Isak. And he goes to Tottenham. He plays the 4-3-2-1 again. It isn't working. So he adapts, switches to the diamond. We kill them for 10 minutes. We go 1-0 up. Isak breaks his leg. He can now no longer use his diamond because he has one fit striker in his entire squad.
We didn't kill them for 10 minutes. They made a mistake. We capitalized on it.
We had them penned back for 10 minutes. They couldn't get out. It was a matter of time.
I just don't know, man.
Like, I am all for criticising this manager because he has got a lot wrong this year. But I've
never heard a manager
saying that he's not a good manager.
You know what's crazy? If Arsenal were having a season that Arne Slot's having, and they had all these injuries and all that other stuff, no one would be saying a word. Everyone would be saying Arteta's crap, get him out.
Because he's not won anything, Cal. He's never proved himself. Slot has.
Okay, cool.
It makes it totally different. Ain't that the reason why we gave Klopp a blind? Klopp's a world-class manager. But when Klopp was having a poor season the 2 years he had, we didn't get on him because we know he'd done it in the past. That was why because if Klopp hadn't won anything, he couldn't have had them 2 poor seasons he had. He couldn't have. Everyone would have been on his case.
Hold on. So Klopp didn't come into a crap Liverpool team and build us into the
Europe League. That. I'm talking about when
no. It's not just about winning, then, is it? It's about the overall picture. You can't leave stuff out.
If he hadn't got over the line but still had that great team, no one would have gave him the bly. He was given the bly because he'd won and he proved himself.
And because he also changed us from being a dead team to a fantastic team. Slot and Klopp.
But we always laugh at Arsenal when they say, "Oh, well, you can't get rid of Arteta because look what he built." We laugh at that. We can't use that narrative. Cal, we can't because we laugh at Arsenal when they say that, don't we?
So we're saying Slot. So Slot's proven himself. Then that's what we're saying.
Across the 6-7 years he's been a professional manager to win 2 league titles, yes, he's proved himself.
He's been a professional manager. I only care what he's doing at Liverpool. Honestly,
he's won 2. Well, one of them was at Liverpool, Cal.
Okay, so in your mind, he's proven himself at Liverpool.
He won the league. Of course, he's proved himself.
Okay.
Like Tom said, I'm not absolving him from this season being crap. this season has been a shambles so far. And if it was up to me, I would sack him today. But we're going on a premise if he wins the Champions League, then what do? And you cannot get rid of a manager that in the first 2 years wins the two biggest trophies in football. You can't. Yeah, you can't. You've at least got to give him the following season. Because why did we hire him? We hired him to win the 2 trophies that we're saying he would have won. So,
I just think that it's very hard to sit there with the manager who has done what he's done, because you have to. I'm not, as much as I'm not absolving him from blame for this season because he has to take blame for certain things, I'm also not going to undersell how big an achievement last season was.
Everyone, this is what
I'm not saying you did. I didn't say the words. Callum Sanderson
no one's
undersold
understanding what
it.
he did last season.
People,
but we're here now, isn't it?
But I think people are. That team was predicted by no one to win a Premier League title. No one predicted that team to win a Premier League title, especially when there was no signings added to it. No one predicted that team to win a Premier League title, and he won it in one of the more dominant fashions. We can look at the points at the end of the season. The last 4 games, we threw away so many points, which would have made it a bigger gap. But he went on one of the longest unbeaten runs in Premier League history. Fact. He won the title in one of the earlier points it's ever been won in a Premier League season. Fact. All of that, I'm not going to, as bad as this year has been, I'm not going to forget about that and have that be ignored when I look at my judgment for how I think he's going to be as a manager in the future. So when we're saying he wins he had a bad season in the Premier League, but he wins the Champions League, how do I know what he's going to average out to next year? For me, the average of him next year is a title challenge. The average for him next year in the Champions League would be a semi-final, because he would have done round of 16 and a win, and he would have done a Premier League finish and 5th. So the average then is he's going to challenge for a title and he's going to challenge for a Champions League. Now, whether he gets over the line, that's a different argument. I then look at him and go, well, have you got history of getting over the line? Yes. In 2 years, you've won one of both. You can get over the line. Now, if he doesn't win the Champions League this year, it's an entirely different conversation. He's out the door. But if he wins the Champions League and he's sitting there at the end of season 2 of his Liverpool tenure with the 2 biggest trophies this football club can win in back-to-back seasons, I'm going to struggle to go, I can do better than you. I can do so much better than you that I need to get you gone right now.
Can I ask a question? How long has Slot been here, Tom?
18 months.
How many out of the 18 months would you say we've been good? As in very good, like top level. Liverpool level that we expect.
Well, I'd say you've got August of last year, September of last year. I'd say up until about February of last year, he was good throughout the entirety of that. I would say, I actually thought we were quite good in December, all things considered. I think January was where we struggled a bit, so I can give him December of this year. And I'd actually say February. So we're talking what, 9 months out of 18, 8-9 months out of 18. So half the time.
February of this year, you think we've played good football in this calendar year?
I'd say we've been good in February.
This calendar year, you think we've been good?
I never said this calendar year. I didn't give him January. I said February. I think we've been good. You had the 4-1 against Newcastle, good performance. You had the loss to City, which was disappointing, but you went toe to toe. It should be doing better, but it's not the end of the world. Sunderland,
see,
we were the better. We were
the what? We were the what?
Okay.
We were the better. We were the better team against City.
We were the better team in the second half against City, 100%. 100% we were. Again, we're now trying to rewrite narratives. Then you go away to Sunderland, who hadn't lost at home all year, beat them at home. Brighton in the Cup, win 3-0. And Nottingham Forest, that's probably your poorest performance of the month, but you still get the job done. You also can't just go on performances of the sole basis. Performances are a big thing. I'm not going to discredit that. But results matter as well. So when we're looking at when's he being good enough, he was good in August. He won every game in August. Bar the Community Shield, which he lost on pens.
If we're doing the results thing, why is it people say Arsenal are crap, and if they win it, it's because they're just a crap league? if it's just
Because
results.
that was the same thing that was said against us last year. I don't run that.
No, forget about us. No, forget about us. If that's the case and it's just results and results are the most important thing, why are people saying now, if Arsenal win it, it's a crap league anyway?
Because people want to run agendas. That's the sole point behind it. People want to run agendas. Those same Arsenal fans who last year were bringing the agenda against us of how it's a crap league because City aren't there and Arsenal have injuries are the same ones now defending it because it's Arsenal. It's agendas. They have their own agendas to protect. The fact of the matter is, the league is probably the same level it was last year as it is this year. It's just there's a different team there. That's all it is.
No, it's worse this year. It's just set pieces and throw-ins now.
Is it worse?
Anyway,
though?
It's all hypotheticals because we don't know if he'll win the Champions League or not, but it will be interesting. I mean, I think the most interesting thing about it all, though, is I think we can all agree it's irrelevant what we think. The club aren't sacking him if he wins the Champions League. So he'll be here next year if he wins the Champions League. There's absolutely
you would have sacked him now, though, would you?
Today, yeah, I would sack him. As in, like,
why would you sack him today if you feel like if he was to win the Champions League, you give him another chance? So why would you sack him if you haven't given him a chance to win the Champions League?
Because there's a lot of variables that would have to happen to win the Champions League, which if he did, I would give him the benefit of the doubt over.
Yeah, so would you not give him a chance to see if he can win it then?
I struggle to see the point.
He's getting a chance regardless, ain't he?
I struggle to see why you'd sack him at this point anyway. It's entirely pointless to sack a manager in March.
No, but I'm just saying the whole premise of when
if it meant we could get Xabi Alonso.
Yeah, but it's like a throwaway comment, though. When you say, or if anyone says, "I'll sack him today," but you wouldn't sack him today because you're saying, "Why would you sack him today?" Doesn't make no sense. And not only that, you're saying if he was to win a Champions League, you give him a chance. So why would people then say you'll sack him today then? When you wouldn't sack him?
like we spoke about yesterday, to win the Champions League, so many things would have improved within the team. Would have been playing
that's what my point. So you'd give him a chance then. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So you wouldn't sack him.
I'm telling you now that I'm only going based on what the emotion would be like if we'd won it. I'm not saying what the journey will be like in between. I'm saying if I'm sitting here in May or June the 1st and we're Champions League winners, I'm never going to be able to turn around and go, the man who won the 2 biggest trophies in 2 years, get out the club. I just won't be able to do that. It kind of sets a weird precedent.
Drift, I'm not arguing with you or saying you've got a wrong opinion. I'm just saying that's why then you shouldn't say you'd sack him now because you wouldn't sack him now because
you're sacking him now.
You keep caveating by saying, but if he wins the Champions, I'd find it. You can't sack a man. You have to give him another chance. So that's what I'm saying. So you wouldn't sack him because by that you're not giving him a chance. Then are you?
But between now and then, he hasn't achieved what the achievement would be giving him the second chance. So if it was,
so you're saying you'll still sack him now, but if he wins the Champions League, you'll keep him. But then you're still saying you'll sack him.
He would have had to massively have improved, which would mean it'd be like, okay, we're not going. No, but you have to understand, there's no way we could win the Champions League doing what we're doing now. He would have had to improve. He would have had to tactically got better.
Which means you're giving him a chance, Jiv. What you're saying is it's not adding up, bro. What I'm trying to say is, if someone makes a statement, if I make a statement, or if you make a statement, if Carl makes a statement, if Tom makes a statement, if someone says they'll sack him now, it means I'm sacking him now. So when people are having conversations saying, "Oh, but if he was to win the Champions League," you should be saying, "Well, no, because I'm sacking him now anyway, so it doesn't matter." But what you're saying is, you keep saying, "Oh, but if he wins the Champions League, you have to give him another chance." So then you wouldn't. But
you're not listening to what I'm saying, bro. Because
you get what I'm saying?
Improved on the issues I have with him.
Yes, he would have improved, which means you're giving him time, which means you wouldn't sack him. Do you get my premise now?
No, what you're saying doesn't make sense.
Cal, am I making sense here? Am I going mad?
I hear what you're saying, man. I
believe he's still a good enough manager, but he's proving that he's being stubborn.
Yeah.
So my annoyance with him isn't his qualities as a coach. It's
I know.
Stubbornness. So if he wins the Champions League, he would have had to have changed on that stubbornness. Because I still think he's a good manager.
No, I know you do. What I'm saying is,
do you get what I'm saying? I'm not saying get rid of him because he's crap. I'm saying get rid of him because his stubbornness is getting on my nerves.
I understand that. What I'm saying is, though, when people say, I'd sack him now, you wouldn't sack him now.
No, I would if it was for Alonso.
Do you think he can win it?
You can't sack him now.
He can win the Champions League?
I think he
based
can.
on what I've seen him do at Liverpool when he's been good at Liverpool. Yeah, I actually do think he can win the Champions League.
Do you?
I watched the first 6 months.
I think he could win the Champions League.
I watched him for the majority of last season, regardless of how many people gaslight me. We were crap for the whole of the second half of the season. I watched him be so good tactically and at halftime make changes, know how to look at the opposition, see what needed to be done, adapt, and all the things I saw him do last season. I know Slot's a good manager. I don't know what's happened to him this season. The arrogance, it went to his head. I don't know what it is. But last season, I know he's a good. I know Slot is a good manager. So I just hope he goes back to doing what he did last year instead of doing what he's been doing this season. That's
for me. You can't sack him now anyway. It makes no sense to sack a manager in March when you're not going to convince a guy to come in on 2 months unless it's an interim. And if you were going to do that, you should have done it long ago. The fact that Arnie Slot's got to March means that he's here for the season. So the notion of I'd still sack him now for Alonso, it's pointless. I wouldn't at that point. Alonso would have 2 months. I'd rather just give this guy the 2 months. If you were going to sack Arnie Slot, which is a perfectly reasonable argument to have, by the way, it had to be done 2 months ago. If we can't do it.
I expect us to go through against Galatasaray. Mm-hmm. When we go through against PSG or Chelsea, that makes me see. In my opinion, it's not a given, but I expect us to. I'd expect us to under any.
You'd hope so. I expected to beat PSV at home.
No, I hear it, but my expectation. I don't expect to beat PSG.
Yeah, but in the same breath, we didn't expect to beat Inter Milan, and we beat Inter Milan, so it swings in Milan.
But the premise goes both ways, Tom. I'm like, we expected to beat Galatasaray the first time we lost. We expected to beat PSV and we lost. So I'm just saying, for this isolated tie, I expect us to get through. Let's say we get through Galatasaray and then we lose to PSG or Chelsea. What happens then?
He's gone at the end of the season, isn't he?
Why? I still ask why get to the end of the season?
Because you do realise that the second leg of the quarterfinal would be like mid-April. He'd have 4 games left of the season. Why would I bring an interim in for 4 games?
Why not bring someone else in you?
It's entirely
because we're still going to be in the top 5. Because we're still going to be in the top 5 race.
Because you haven't told me what he's doing in the league. If he's still on course to get me top 5, why would I get rid of him at that point?
I don't get.
I would get rid of him at the end of the season at that point because he's not got his saving grace. He's not managed to pull me a Champions League despite being shit in the league. So his job is gone. But if we're still in a position after going out in the quarterfinals where he's in a strong position to get top 5, why would I then get rid of him to get a guy to come in on the basis to do the same thing that he was doing in the league? When I could just give him the end of the season, save money on the sacking because it goes down in the summer, and then get the manager I wanted anyway in the summer. It makes no sense to bring an interim in for 4 games, in my opinion.
Cal, Matt, let me ask you a little quick question, because I'm very curious about this. If we sack Slot in May, June, but he's won the Champions League, right? He gets the parade and then we sack him. So say he gets sacked second week of June, right?
Yeah. And
we get Nagelsmann or Xabi Alonso, right? Because a lot of the rumors are Enrique's actually staying at PSG. So let's not do the unrealistic.
I don't think
let's say Nagelsmann or Xabi Alonso, right?
Yeah.
You enjoy the football they play, but we finish 4th and go out in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. He's got to be sacked then, right? Because you just sacked the man who won the Champions League. So how can you keep a man in a job who comes 4th in the league?
Because again, missing out context. The reason I'm sacking Slot is not because he's winning the Champions League. I'm sacking Slot because he's bombed the Premier League. His man management's been terrible. His use of the players has been terrible. His tactics have been terrible. I'm not just sacking him just on a whim. We've been bad for 12 months. If Xabi Alonso comes in, and let's say he doesn't get many players in the transfer window, let's say he does get a bunch of injuries, then I can justify a top 4 finish. If Xabi Alonso comes in and he gets Elise, he gets Schlotterbeck, and he gets all these bad boys, and we're playing bad football and we scrape top 4, then yes, I'm sacking Xabi Alonso. I am not married to any manager. I'm not married to any player. I'm married to Liverpool Football Club. So I don't care what the name is or who the name is. Context matters, though. I'm not sacking Slot because he's winning the Champions League and because he won the Premier League. No, quite the opposite. I'm sacking Slot because he's been given so many tools, he's been given so many things, and he's still messing up. What is so hard about this?
But winning the
Liverpool
Champions League wouldn't be messing up.
What other Liverpool manager in history has been giving the keys to the city like Slot? What other manager in Liverpool history has come into a squad this ready built? What other managers come into Liverpool history and had this amount of riches, this amount of trust given to him by the board, given to him by the players, and still messed up?
But Cal, we won the Champions League, it wouldn't be messing up.
He had the same ratio as Roy Hodgson for a large portion of the season. I don't even know if it's any different now. It's the same ratio as Roy Hodgson, considered the worst Liverpool manager in the modern era. I'm not just sacking this man just based on dislike or hate. There are reasons to this. So this notion that I'm just being entitled or flip-flopping or no, we've all sat here and discussed the reasons why you want him sacked, why Tom wants him sacked, Hassan wants him sacked, Matt wants him sacked, I want him sacked. But all of a sudden, I should just change because we win the Champions League. To me, you guys are flip-flopping more than I am. I'm being consistent on this.
No, because as I premised, he would have had to have improved to win the Champions League. So if he improves, then obviously that means that he's doing the things that he's not doing the things we're annoyed
so low this year. We've improved a little bit anyway, if we're being honest. We have improved, obviously. We have improved. Look, here's the thing. The fact that we're Liverpool Football Club, we are debating.
How many managers do we go through if that's the case? That means
but that's again, don't be scared to change, but it doesn't mean to say that you stick with something if it's not working at the same time, though. Do you get what I'm saying?
It's not about being scared to change, but we can't just become Chelsea and like
but no one said we'll become
morals
Chelsea
or anything anymore. It's just you didn't win, you've got to go. You didn't win, you've got to go. You didn't win.
No, but obviously you'll give a manager time. And like Cal said, there's context to it though.
What was the context I gave around sacking Xabi Alonso if we got Xabi Alonso? What was the context I gave?
If we have a poor league run with all the tools, you would think he hasn't done a good enough job.
So I'm not just becoming Chelsea then, am I? I'm not just sacking him for the sake of it.
What if Nagelsmann gets the job the year up and then he finishes fourth again with the same skills? Are we just going to keep getting rid of managers all the time?
Yes, because I'm not going to sit around and just keep on living in a world of, maybe you'll get it right next season, or maybe...
No, but Cal, you don't build stability like that. That's insane. You can't
also
do
don't win trophies.
Yeah, but out of the two managers that you mentioned...
You won trophies and you didn't care.
Out of the two managers you mentioned, there's probably a higher probability that one of them will get it right.
You would have still dashed him and he won the trophy.
Yes, based on everything else I spoke about.
It's just
based on so based on everyone here wanting him sacked, I'm now crazy because he wins the Champions League. I go, forget all about what's happened in the last 12, 13 months. It's cool now. It's all forgotten about.
Sometimes in football, that's kind of how it works, you know, Cal.
No, it doesn't.
Sometimes in football, that's kind of how it works. If you actually get over the line, you redeemed yourself from what you've done wrong. That's just how football works, bro.
I just think people have a different opinion. I think people have a different opinion on how Liverpool should be ran. I think some people think we're too soft and some people think we're too harsh. And I think that's generally what it is. I think there's fans out there like me and Cal that, not saying we become soulless, but we become a bit more stricter, a little bit more ruthless. And obviously, I understand the other aspect of where you would say give the manager a bit more time. There's nothing wrong with that. I genuinely feel like that's really the debate. It's however you see how you want the club to move forward. Do you want the club to keep giving a manager time and gambling, or would you rather the club take a chance where it could work out, but it could also fail at the same time as well? I genuinely think that's what it boils down to.
When you're talking about gambling, there's a lot worse gambles to take than sticking by a manager.
No, I know, but you're taking like what you said, you take like a calculated gamble. So the two managers that he used, obviously Nagelsmann and Alonso, you're probably thinking out of one of them two, you know what I mean? You hope you're banking on one of them will get it right. That's more of a calculated gamble. It's not like we're saying so. It's not like Drift said like some two other names where you're like, I don't know about that. Do you know what I mean? That's what it comes down to.
The thing is,
less of a risk to hire Nagelsmann or Alonso than it's to stick with a man who's won the Champions League and the Premier League.
Yes, based on the context.
Could you make it seem like, obviously he's won Prem and he's won champ, so why would you get rid of the manager? But you're missing out everything else.
No, I'm just saying, what's the bigger risk?
Drift? You're forgetting how you felt.
Or sticking with a man who's already won.
Drift, you're forgetting.
What's the bigger risk?
You're forgetting them watch-alongs, yeah? You see the 9 losses in 12 when you wanted to smash your laptop, go mad, go crazy, everyone's angry.
It got bad.
This is all right. Remember, he's had the fight with. Wait. All right, let me bring up. Hold on. Wait there. He's had all right. So 9 losses in 12. He's had a bust up with Salah. Szoboszlai don't want to talk about him, and he's in the middle of a contract negotiation. We should be right. Real Madrid lurking. McAllister didn't want to speak about him when he had a chance. Konate, you can tell, wants to leave the club. He's had enough of him. So personal relationships in terms of our players are the greatest with the manager.
Calvin Ramsey doesn't like him. He wins the Champions League. Calvin Ramsey doesn't like him. Fucking hell.
Can I finish? So wait there. I don't know why you're lashing out because these things are actually factual. So the players haven't got a great relationship with the manager, or should I say some of the players, which is kind of true, right? We play horrible football unless someone's going to try and tell me different and say that we do play good football, because I don't think we do. I think we play horribly. Results haven't been the way how they should be, and he doesn't want to play much youth players or doesn't really want to give them much of a chance when we potentially could have used them earlier on in the season when we had them injury worries. Not only that, Mr. Scouse boy, Curtis Jones, Curtis Jones also is another person to add to that list who potentially might want to leave. So all these factors are the reasons as to why we're saying, even if he wins the Champions League, we can't forget about all these other things, though. We can't, bro.
And that's fine.
Because you know what might happen? That might be his send-off. That might be wins champs, and then we just go back to type, and then all these things come back to the surface. Not only that, we lose players as well, Drift, so we'll get weaker. Because Szoboszlai, again, wants, I don't know how much he wants. McAllister, tricky contract.
No, but that
again.
part is speculation. We don't actually know.
No, true.
That was what I was going to ask. Where have we seen the things of the Szoboszlai doesn't have a good relationship with him and McAllister? I'm not saying you're wrong. I haven't seen anything like that.
Have you not seen? I swear there's Szoboszlai's comments where he said, I prefer not to speak. It was him and McAllister have both had individual interviews. So someone in the chat would have to remind you exactly what it was. And I was like, hold on a minute. Is this another situation with the manager again? I'm not making this up. I am not making this up.
Can I ask you both a question, Tom and Drew? Let's say he does win the Champions League between now and the end of the season. And let's say, for argument's sake, we scrape top 5 on the last day of the season.
Let me see if I can find a comment.
But the football doesn't really improve because there's this notion that the football really has to improve to win the Champions League. We could scam our way through it. We could.
Yeah, I won't argue that, yeah.
Let's say we scam our way through and we scrape top 5.
Tactically, I think tactically it has to improve. Not necessarily aesthetically, but tactically it would have to.
I don't think tactically.
When Chelsea
they weren't as bad tactically as you're saying. Like when they won Champions League, they weren't like all over the place and absolutely scammed it.
What this manager said this season, individual brilliance is the main thing he's been harping on about effectively, right? He needs individual brilliance.
I didn't actually see that interview. I just heard what you lot said.
So let's say Ekitike inverts or Ekitike when Isak comes back, or Salah just switches it on from now to the end of the season, and we do a madness. We win the Champions League and we scrape top 5.
Yeah,
you trust him to improve in the league next season and to improve tactics and to actually bring in the right players as well.
More than I would not.
No. It's yes or no.
Yes, I'd say yes. Then I'd say yes.
That's
because
I have
the flash.
That's fundamentally where we differ. Then.
Okay,
I don't
that's fine.
him.
And I understand where you lot are coming from. I'm not saying you lot are talking rubbish. But that's my thing. I don't understand how you guys can just trust him after winning the Champions League, because the rest of everything else is a shambles. And the fact that he's bought players and already saying that they're not the right profile in Kirkes and Frimpong kind of just makes my mind boggle. No, but that proves he's got no say in it, Cal, which is what I said. It's Hughes who buys the players. I said this.
Okay, where's the proof of that?
How he's used the players and then him saying what he said.
So he has no say. He has no say. He has no say on who
he doesn't have
no say, but like he gets 25% say. So there's still 75% that's nothing to do with it.
No, Arne Slot gets the final. If Arne Slot doesn't want a player, they're not going to buy him a player he doesn't want. The point where Cal said he bought the wrong.
So he signs off on the players then?
Yes, in the same way that every other manager signs off on the players.
Right,
I won't argue that.
But it would have been out of the choices he was given, Matt, though. He would have been given Kirkes, such and such. And if he goes, I prefer Kirkes out of all of them, he has made the choice. But it was still Hughes who brought him the options. That's what the director of football does.
Yeah,
brings the options.
The point is he knows how he wants to play football.
He's got to sign off on which option he wants out of the options then.
Yeah, but he's not going to be able to keep going, no, someone else. Because then Hughes is going to go, no, this is who I've told you. We've done the research. This is your option. Like, the director of football is in control of transfers more than the head coach. That's the point of the football director.
He was happy with the fullbacks that were brought in.
Just signing the check.
No, I hear it. But he's already said earlier in the season he was happy with the fullbacks that have been brought in. But now because the league has changed, he's trying to say maybe we should have went for different profiles. So,
or maybe he was doing a good manager thing and he wasn't saying negative things, because if you keep being negative, it makes it worse.
How he was, he wanted these fullbacks
and Kirkes. That is negative.
Yes, no, I found the quote
at the beginning when he said he was happy with them, because maybe he didn't want to be negative at first.
You're telling I have found the quote about the profiles, and it is so massively taken out of context. He said, I did not underestimate the effect these new set pieces would have on the Premier League, but when you look at the profile of players we signed, Frimpong and Kirkes are not very big. From that point of view, we could have signed profiles that were actually strong profiles when it comes to this aspect. So he said that on the aspect of set piece defending, we could have done something differently. Not as players in general, I've signed the wrong profiles.
But hold on, Kirkes is 5'11".
Yes.
That's pretty tall for a fullback.
Yeah, pretty tall for a fullback. We're talking about the set pieces here. When you're picking up 6'2", 6'3".
So hold on, how tall was Robbo and Trent and them, man?
No, but Cal, the league wasn't just
he defends
all
in a
about
different way.
He defends in a different way. Let me get this straight. He knew he didn't underestimate the league would go this way, but then still chose to get these players in. Do you see how that makes no sense?
No, I think he's just saying if we were only going to concentrate on set pieces, we would have got taller fullbacks. But like Tom said, it's like, but I wasn't going to base my entire game on that. So no, we didn't do that. And yeah, maybe that's why we've been a bit weaker at set pieces.
So why even bring it up?
Because he was asked the question about does he regret the signings? The whole thing was an interview about the signings.
Let me get this straight.
He didn't just randomly start talking about it. He was asked the question.
No, but even still, whether he's asked the question or not, let me just get this straight. He was asked a question about the players. He then went on a talk and saying, I didn't underestimate that set piece was going to play a big factor, but I'm happy with the players we signed. But maybe if I knew it was going to be like this, we would have chosen a different profile of player. That's like me saying, do you know what? I think it might rain out there, but I'm not going to bring an umbrella. And then when I get wet, I go, should have brought an umbrella.
That wasn't what he didn't say. He didn't say we should have signed different players. He said, yeah, if we were so focused on that aspect, we could have signed different profiles, but we aren't. So we didn't. That's how he's done it.
So once again, why even bring it up?
Because he was asked the question,
Cal.
Which is a stupid answer to give.
It makes sense to me.
Answer to give.
It makes perfect sense.
Stupid answer. The answer makes no sense. It's a stupid answer.
Cal, if someone says to you, do you think you've been crap at set pieces? And then you say, well, I bought a certain profile of player to play a certain way. So if I played the way you're suggesting to me would have been better, yeah, we could have bought somebody different. But I didn't want to go down that route because I wanted to play the way I wanted to play. That perfectly makes sense to me.
So why are set pieces improved in the second half of the season?
Because maybe we've adapted because we had to figure it out. Maybe that's good coaching.
So why
the same players?
Sooner?
But you know what I was going to ask?
Maybe at first we couldn't figure it out, but as the season's gone on,
have you ever sat there and gone, "Oh man, Frimpong beating at the back post or Kirkes"? Only once, I think, this season, where we can really sit there and when Kirkes tried to hold off someone in the air. Other than that, them two haven't even been in the spotlight when it comes to defending set pieces. That's another reason why.
No, but you realize that set pieces doesn't mean that it's like you're going to be at the back post as a fullback.
No, I never said that. But what I'm saying is we've never looked
taller players in the box.
I understand that, but we've never looked at Kirkes and Frimpong and thought their weaknesses, even though we know they're not maybe the tallest of defenders in general. We've never looked at that. But the fact that the manager's trying to almost suggest to say, well, maybe if they're a bit taller, maybe we could have done a bit, but they've never really been a problem. I'm not trying to say like what he said is necessarily wrong. It's just that he's highlighting something that didn't really need to be highlighted, in my opinion.
You lot are interpreting what he said in the wrong way, because from what you lot are saying, it's almost like you're suggesting that he was saying that, yeah, maybe we should have done that. He's not saying that. He's just saying, I didn't want to go down that route because I didn't want to only concentrate on set
All we had to do is get rid of the set piece coach, and look, we're better.
Well, maybe that's got something to do with it as well.
So why didn't he say that then? Do you get what I'm saying, though? Man could have just said,
the question was, did he underestimate the league, and would he have changed his signings? Why would he then go, I should have just got rid of the set piece coach? He's
because he could be honest. So wait there. So he could be honest about the players, but you can't be honest about your coaching staff. All right, I hear it.
He can be, because when
I'm not saying throw man under the bus. Do you know all he had to say, Tom? We've made adjustments this year. So earlier in the season, we had to make some adjustments, and now we've made. You're basically implying once we got rid of my man, we're better. That's all he had to say, you know.
He has said.
You get what I'm saying?
He has said that though. He has said that.
Why still bring up Kirkes and Frimpong? They didn't even need to be in this conversation. I don't think man understand what I'm saying.
Because the question was about the new signings, not about Aaron Briggs. What are we doing here? If the question had been,
so he has to answer everything that they ask him.
Yeah, he does because he said new signings. He had to specifically speak about them too. But it's cool.
Oh my god!
Because they're defenders and they're playing defense.
You know what it is when you've made your mind up on a manager, when you've made your mind up on a fella.
Mm-hmm.
And they say anything, you will look for the bad in it. He has said nothing wrong in that interview. He said nothing wrong in that interview. But when you're looking for it, when you're looking for examples of his bad man management,
I wasn't looking for anything. I didn't even think it's that deep. I just said maybe he could have said something else. I don't think it's that deep. I just said he could have said something else. But you're the one that's taking it like that. You're the one that's getting frustrated.
Yeah, like don't.
Yes, because you're asking him to answer the question that he wasn't asked.
I'm not asking him to do anything other than sometimes, sometimes you don't need to say no. Sometimes you don't always have to specifically go into detail. For example, when we went, Cal, let me say this. Sorry, Cal, 1 second. Do you remember when we made it through to the Champions League knockout stages and my man had the cheek to say, well, you know what? Pretty good for us, because 2 years ago, you lot was in a Europa. Yeah, we know that, bro. But you don't need to say that. That's my argument, Tom. Maybe you'll understand that one. Do you understand what I'm saying?
And
sometimes you ain't got to say something.
I agree.
Man just love chat too much. Just love chat too much. Chatty patty.
That's what I agree. That one I agree.
Do you get what I'm saying, though?
He was not, because in that one, he was not asked. 2 years ago, you were in the Europa League, and now you're in the Champions League. Do you think that's an improvement? He wasn't asked that. I don't know why you want him when he's asked about, do you think you underestimated the way the league has gone? And do you think you should have signed differently to come? Well, we should have got rid of the set piece coach. That's like me asking you, do you like apples or oranges?
I don't mean literally, Tom. I don't mean literally. He could have just said, we've made adaptations throughout this season. Obviously, we know what those adaptations are because one of them's left. What I'm saying is not always having to name drop. If you've not noticed about this manager, whether he says the right thing or wrong thing, he does have a habit for name dropping. Do you get? And I know he was asked about new signings. He could have just said the new signings. Yeah, do you know what? The new signings, they've been all right. We've made some adaptations defensively, so I think like we're looking a bit better now. Do you get what I'm saying? I didn't use any names there.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get what I'm saying, though?
Yes, I do. But he was asked about the new signings. That's the point. Like, if the question had been, do you think you underestimated the league's switch to set pieces this year? And then he went off in a tirade about, well, I should have done this, he should have done this, and he should have done that. Then I'm completely on board. But I feel like I can't sit there and go, why did you name drop Kirkes and Frimpong when you were asked? Do you think you would have bought differently if you'd underestimated the way the league's gone with set pieces?
Did you bring up Verts in that conversation, just out of interest?
No, because Verts doesn't defend the box in set pieces.
No, I'm just asking if he mentioned any. It was just them, just the defenders.
The only other guy he should have named is whatever striker plays Ekatike or Isak, because they stand on the front post on corners. That's the only one he should have named. But he focused on Frimpong and Kirkes probably because they're in the defensive unit. So he's going fullbacks defend the corners. I don't see him saying anything wrong there. And again, I know you were looking for it. Did you find anything about his relationship with Szoboszlai and McAllister when it was he's had that breakdown there? Or are we again? Is it people who are? Again, I'm not going to say used to, but is it people that are looking for anything to beat the manager down with and have created narratives in their own head? He fell out with Salah, 100%, although I think Salah's problem was more so upstairs than him. because if it was with him, he would have mentioned the manager more than once in his interview that he done, but he was talking a lot more about upstairs. Curtis Jones, he's clearly fell out with. I don't like that as much as you do. Don't. Calvin Ramsey, shit man management. It is. But Calvin
so with
Ramsey
his track
was never
record,
really
would you
gonna
say
play.
that there's probably, even if it's not factual, but there's probably more damning evidence that when it comes to man management, this manager does have a couple of issues, though?
No, because for everyone that speaks bad about him, there's about 4 people that speak really highly of him.
Who's that?
His entire Feyenoord team.
No,
and if I'm pretty sure Van Dijk speaks highly of him. Alisson speaks very highly of him. Gravenberch speaks very high. Alisson, in the interview after the Mo Salah thing, said, "I stand by the manager. We all in the dressing room stand by the manager. We all." I don't know the exact quote, but I can go find it for you. But he basically said the dressing room is with the manager. We all still back him. We all still on his side.
Again? All right. So what about Chiesa as well? Yeah,
Chiesa's he's never thrown his toy out the pram. Do I think he's very happy? No, but he's never.
Kwanzaa Morton, who.
Yep, Kwanzaa and Morton. Mm-hmm. Yep,
so
2 guys.
Like there are quite a few.
Okay, yeah. So Cal, we're talking about we're talking about squad players who felt they should have got more game time than they did. Tyler Morton is one that you can look at and go, yeah, he probably should have played more, but people forget he had a shoulder injury for 4 months last year. So there were points that he would have played that he didn't. Kwanzaa could have got more game time.
Harvey Elliott's one as well. Harvey Elliott
wants more game. It's game time in the same way that there were players under Klopp who weren't happy with their game time. It's not
how many of those players came out? How many of those players came out and were actually in the press talking about, or actually visibly disgruntled, or was it dealt with behind the scenes? Because Klopp was actually a good man manager.
Again, you asked me to go back.
Last time I checked, Harvey Elliott was still our player, but apparently he's not. He's Villa's player, according to the manager. Like we can do, if we want to do the whole slot glazing stuff, I've got plenty of stuff that I can bring to the table that shows he's not to be glazed as well.
Yeah, so, I'm not saying he's faultless. No word have I said he's faultless.
No, but Tom, I'm not saying he like has bad relationship with every player. Obviously, that wouldn't be the case, right? But is it not concerning, in your opinion, that there's quite a few players when you look down the list of it, you're like, there's quite a few of them that you maybe would say could be a little, don't know, like bad relationship there, like Harvey Elliott, Tyler Morton. And again, this is speculation because nothing is directly confirmed. You can only go by quotes and interviews and whatever. But would you say there's a few, though, in all honesty?
Yeah, there's probably a few who are disgruntled in the same way there's a few that disgruntled in most dressing rooms when they don't play.
You think that that's something that, as a Liverpool fan base, considering we want to say is that something that we should not be concerned about, or do you feel like it's something that's been blown out of proportion in your opinion?
I think it's something that gets blown out of proportion because we're not talking about the key players in the squad here. Salah's the only one that you're looking at going, oh, it's a problem there because he's a regular starter.
How are you going to feel when Curtis Jones leaves, if he does leave?
I'll be disappointed.
And whose fault would you say that is?
As it stands, I assume it's the manager's, but I don't know the facts of the matter. For all we know, there could be a thing that drops in January, in the summer, that goes on.
And obviously he can still stay. I'm just saying what it is that I don't. And again, Tom, I don't know. I'm not no footballing agent. I know behind the scenes. All I'm saying is that there's a few players that I look at and go, and obviously you see the quotes and whatnot, and you're like, this may not be the greatest thing you want to hear, and I hope that these things work their way out. But I am a bit concerned that there's been a few players that seem a bit disgruntled that have either left or are about to leave.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, sure, and I'm not going to discredit that, but I don't think then that's a brush that I tarn him with because Salah had a falling out with him. Curtis Jones has seemingly had a falling out with him, and a bunch of squad players who don't play many minutes have had a falling out with him.
Do you know what? That's fair, Tom.
The core players, I still think are behind them and have good relationships with them. And I think that's what
you can genuinely say what we're saying is there is speculations there as opposed to facts. So if I turn around and say when you guys say he's just a head coach and doesn't really get much of a say with transfers, is that speculation or is that a fact?
I think it's I don't know if I read it in an article or something. It could be we'll operate on speculation for now. I can't be able to go to find if it was written in a certain article, but I'm going on the speculation of what head coaches do as a general rule of thumb in football.
Should we not go based on what he actually says then?
What does he say?
When he says that it's a collaborative effort and they all work together and he's not just told you to get, and they all sit down and discuss it, and him and Richard Hughes always have conversations about transfers.
Yeah.
Should that not be what's taken as the word on the situation?
Take that 100%.
So if that's the case and we're going to take him at his word.
Yep.
So if these are the players he's brought in and he's happy with these players.
Yeah.
Why has he struggled to get the best out of these players and struggled tactically? And why is he then bringing up situation about profile of players?
He's not absolved of blame. He's fucked up with certain things. I think he's been unlucky with certain players, constantly getting injured, therefore they can't get a rhythm going. And I think that's also forced other players to move different positions. But tactically,
he's forced players to move positions. They haven't been forced to move positions. He decides to place the Bosley and encourages the right back.
I was talking about the new signs, but yeah. Kirkes, 100%. I agree with you on him. He had that wrong from the get-go this season with how he was playing the left back. 100%. Isak, I absolve most of the blame from him on. Barely ever got to play him. Frimpong, I absolve most of the blame. Barely ever got to play him. I had to play him as a winger because
Leone as well. That's not his
Leone, barely ever played him. Mamardashvili, there's not been a fucking problem with him. He's the backup keeper. He's played when he's had to play.
Could have played FA Cup and could have played FA Cup games. He could have played that last game in the Champions League. That's how you keep players happy.
Sure, he could have done.
Apparently, there's rumours now he's a bit disgruntled.
Yeah, that's Graham Bailey. That's all.
No, I'm just saying. I literally said rumours. I didn't say factually.
Vert, I think he struggled. Vert, I think he struggled physically at the get-go, and the manager then panicked and started moving him around here, there, and everywhere. Yeah. And he's finally sort of figured out where he wants to put him, and he started to show a bit more consistency. And Hugh Ekitike, I'd say for the most part, that there was a period when he was trying to get Isak fit, where he had Ekitike on the bench, and people thought he should have started. But outside of that, I don't think he's done much wrong with Ekitike. The problem with Arne Slot this year hasn't been how he's used his signings. I'd say outside the Kirkes, who we got wrong for 3 months, he's been pretty all right with them. It's the ones that he had last year that he's tried to put into new roles that have not went very well. The way he's tried to change how the wingers play, where they stay wide a lot of the time. The way he's altered how the midfield sets up to where it's a fluid pivot, to where one will go and one will stay, which was something that we didn't do last year. Stuff like that is more so, which I think he's got wrong this year, rather than his signings. I don't think his signings have been the ones that have really focused on and went, oh, he's really doing them wrong. I've looked at, well, he's left McAllister out to dry in large parts of the game with vacating the midfield.
Guys, I've got to shoot. Apologies.
Bless up, you guys. The way he's played both wingers hasn't been very good. The way he's played both wingers hasn't been very good in terms of the guys that need to operate inside, and he's had them pinned to the touchline a large part of the time. That side of the game, 100% on the manager, in my eyes. The players haven't adapted well to the roles. I think the players have to take a degree of blame, but the focus is mainly on the manager in this situation. You should look at your players. You should know what they're good at, what they're not. You shouldn't be trying to make them do stuff that they can't do to the detriment of the team. But his signings, I don't think I look at and go, he's got them wrong this year in terms of how he's managed them for the most part.
All right, we'll see what happens in the Champions League. I'm going to go and do school run. Be back at 5, boys.
To be fair, Cal, I actually think Tom, like all jokes aside, I think Tom's kind of right, because other than Soboslai, I think our best players this season have been our new signings. So I kind of think Tom's right.
Backs up my point even more. So hence why when people say he wasn't given the right tools or Richard Hughes made all the signs and stuff, no, he was utilising Kirkes wrong at the beginning, and he was utilising Wirtz wrong at the beginning. He's now changed and made them play how they should be playing, and look at that. They've been absolutely fine. So again, he messed up.
Yeah, but again, I still believe he was given the players more so than it was his choice.
Based on what he said, that's not the truth.
No, that's what he said. Remember?
He wasn't said he was given the players. He says it's a collaborative effort.
Yeah. But everybody was saying it was him only. So
Todd Bowley
gives
gives Chelsea managers players. That's obvious. Todd Bowley gives Chelsea managers.
Yeah. Abramovich used to give. Yeah, not to that level. No, yeah, he's not on that level.
Players. They will sit down and speak about it.
Yeah, he's not on that level, but he's still not fully in control of it. But
no manager is in world football.
Klopp was. Arteta is. Well,
Arteta's not. He's got Bert. Arteta's not. Bert is there.
Well, for about 2 years he was, though. It was just him who was picking everyone.
No one is now. Oh yeah, boys, catch you guys at 5. Tom,
big up, man. On that note, guys, we will be back for our calling show at 5 o'clock. So you do have a fun-filled day of Kopish today. So yeah, we will be back at 5. I mean, without the opposing people telling me no point, I keep going on about Slot. But just to round it up, I agree with a lot of what the boys were saying, and I think you do as well, that he isn't absolved from blame. He has made a lot of mistakes this season. But on the flip side, we also can't just ignore any positives he's done or blame him for things that aren't his fault just because we don't think he's doing a good job at this moment. So, you know what I mean? And again, I do find it very strange the road we might go down if we actually get rid of a manager who wins the Champions League. I think that what it is, Tom, I think from my point of view, I'd be a little bit more worried that we'll be setting a precedent that we can't even keep up with. Like it's almost like saying we've become a Real Madrid, where it's like, if you do not win a trophy, you are out the door. It'd be like, oh, well, but we sacked the man who won the trophy. So what's the rules here? Do you get what I mean? Like it would be like
the thing for me is I'm not blindly slotting in that sense. I'm not really slotting. I've said on the basis of he wins the Champions League, I can't really sack him. If he won the FA Cup and didn't win the Champions League, I would still sack him.
Yeah, me too. I think you and me on the exact same page.
Remember, like in fucking Infinity War, where Doctor Strange sees all 14 million possibilities and there's only one they win. That's the only. There's 14 million ways this season could go. There's only one way he keeps his job.
Yeah. No. Yeah. 100%. I agree.
So I'm not like I'm not doing it blindly. I'm saying that I can't, in my mind, sack a manager who wins the Champions League. And on that basis, if he does that, he probably gets time. I don't even know if I give him a new contract, by the way. He'd have 1 year left after the season.
No, I wouldn't give him a new contract.
I don't know if I'd give him a new contract.
No, I wouldn't, yeah.
But I just wouldn't feel right to sit there with a manager in 2 years and go, look, you had a bad league season last year. Won't discredit that. But in your first 2 years as football club, you won the 2 biggest trophies that you can win. Now go. I can't do that. I can't do that in my mind. And I think that with what he is as a manager, I'd at least give him the opportunity in that third season to show that he's turned the corner. If we're in October, November that year, and we aren't there, we're still playing the same drab football, at that point, I'd probably make a decision and go, look, it's not going to work. It's not sustainable. Yeah, I agree but I just think it's very hard to get rid of him after winning the trophy.
No, I fully agree with that. I actually fully agree with that, bro. I do. Right. Let's finish up with some of these super chats and we will get out of here. Prepare. I can't believe I'm going to be back again. Bloody hell. Today's going to be a crazy day. Big up Shawnee. We are winning Budapest 7. Come on, Cal. Ruin it for me. So he's not here, unfortunately. Big up Noor. 1 EPL.
2 1 Premier League, 2 Champions Leagues in 30 years. Then if he does it in 2 years and you sack him after that, it doesn't make much sense. Is basically what Noah's saying. Yeah.
Which is kind of what we was alluding to earlier when we was talking about it, to be honest. Shawnee says it's hate overshadowing reasoning. Crazy. I do personally believe, even though they said they didn't, so I'm not going to put words in their mouth, but I definitely think with Cal and Matt at this point, they just dislike the manager so much, it's irrelevant to them now. You know, and it just gets to that point where it's like, I just don't like you anymore. So, like, I don't even care what you do anymore. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like...
Maybe it's not with them, but I know it's a case for some people that regardless of what he does now, they will see the negative side of it. And maybe that's what sends other people to then go overly positive on him and just see all the positives in everything he does. There's a middle ground to sit at.
Maybe. Yeah, because you know what, Tom? What you're saying is actually right, because you and me are actually currently slot out. We're just arguing the fact to make a balanced argument because you can't just all go
at this point. At this point with me, there's no point in sacking him up until the summer. He's got one way to save his job, but if Alonso rang me up now and went, I'll take the job, I'm not getting rid of the Slot now because I don't see the point with 2 months left in a season.
Oh,
I think it's just
would
unnecessary overhaul.
On that regard, I probably would. Maybe that's where you and me are different, and I probably would still do it. But I understand where
for me, there was a cut-off. For me, there was a cut-off to where you could sack him, and it was the end of January. If you sacked him before the end of January, the manager can come in and has got a realistic chance to get stuff together. Now you're bringing him in. If you sacked Slot now, and it took a week to get a manager, his first game would be the FA Cup against Wolves. And then he's got the Champions League, which is the only competition we've got left. So like he's straight into the deep end with no time to work with the team and no time to implement his ideas. At this point, I think you let him keep his job and he makes his own bed. He either saves his job or he loses it.
No, you're actually right, because when I was looking at that Tottenham Arsenal game, at first I was thinking, do you know what? This could affect Arsenal because they don't know what he's going to do and he might surprise them.
His team doesn't know what he wants to do.
Yeah, in reality, he had no time to get Tottenham to know what he actually wanted. You're right. Yeah, when you actually look at it like that, you're right. It actually would be like, it could be quite catastrophic for the Champions League.
And in this way, he's got no excuse, if you get me. He can't sit there afterwards and go, well, if they just kept me in the job, I have belief I would have won that Champions League. He dies on his own sword, if you get me. If he doesn't.
Yeah. No, I hear it. Noor also says money argument overblowing. Half of the signings were not used. And
that's what the manager said himself yesterday, isn't it?
Leone Isak Frimpong injured most of the season, and Mama was benched, and rightly so, because Alisson is the better goalkeeper. So, apart from the FA Cup game, I think he should have played Mama in the FA Cup game. Boy, somebody please hook Cal up with a chaps. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Fucking. He ain't even here to defend himself, but big up for the super chat, bro. What the hell is this U-turn on Slot? Wait for the first half against Gala when we sacrifice the half we get battered. Then we'll say we'll beat them at Anfield.
The U-turn on Slot is he's got one way to save his job. And I think that people are going to a degree of it.
I would also say as well that when you actually go back and look at the Galatasaray game, I know we did lose the game, but that isn't actually one of the games I think we were dominated or battered. I just think it was quite an even game and they got a penalty they shouldn't have been given. Like, if we were absolutely battered by Galatasaray, I'd be like, shit. But I actually think we were maybe even slightly better than them. They just had home advantage and a dodgy penalty. So I'm hoping that we will be all right against Galatasaray based on what we saw of them before. But big up Uncle Roz says, Drift and Tom, give up on Slot football. It is not sustainable. Can't go into next season with these inconsistencies and also the way he speaks about the club. I do hate his press conferences. I definitely agree with everyone saying that. I don't, although I agree, Tom, that they're blowing out of proportion those quotes from the latest one. In general, though, I do hate the things he says. It is annoying what he says in press conferences. But
yeah, but I didn't take much notice of it most of the time. I didn't take much notice of what Klopp said.
I do think that people are definitely trying to act like all managers don't talk shit to attack Slot. All managers talk shit. They do. Like, let's be real. And not many managers actually do well at losing. You know, when people are like, he should take responsibility. Yeah, in an ideal world, he should. But I didn't really ever hear Wenger or Mourinho or any of these other world-class managers ever really take the blame when their team lost. So it's not like Slot is the first manager who don't take responsibility for losing. You know what I mean? Like Conte, I don't really ever hear Conte come out and take responsibility for, you know what I mean? Like, it's very rare you actually get managers sit there and go, it's all on me. I think we're just too used to Klopp, because Klopp would do that a lot. Klopp would be like, it's my fault. But Klopp is a rare manager that you don't really get people with his personality. So I think that might be skewing people's views a little bit. Noor also says, so Slot can't achieve anything to turn it around? Not by Matt and Cal. No, I think they've already admitted that it's irrelevant what he does now. They still wouldn't gone. Ruai says, Slot was lucky to still be here after Forest and PSV. However, it would be ridiculous to sack him now if he wins the Champions League. Would have won the two biggest trophies in the first 2 seasons, which is basically what me and Tom been saying.
Exactly.
Yo, man, them on Kopish be wasting too much time, too much airtime talking about Slot winning the Champions League. Let's go through the next couple of rounds first. All this talk is just premature ejaculate at this time. Focus on West Ham. Good point. It is a good point. Today was a very hypothetical conversation, but it was based on now we know our path at the Champions League. So obviously now we can have like a more in-depth conversation, because before it was a lot of like, we don't even know who we're playing kind of thing. Faraz says, Tom said last week he can't take this football.
Yeah, I think the football is shit. I do. I won't go back on that. I think the football is really shit at points. But again, if he wins the Champions League, like we won a Champions League playing shit football before. I've seen teams win the Champions League playing shit football before. I with the way I see it and how I feel, I just don't think you can sack a guy who wins the Champions League. And I also am not of the belief that he can never turn it round. We're playing shit football this year, but we played really good football last year for large parts. He could return back to that, and then we're flying, aren't we? So I think there's a middle ground to sit on. I just think that a lot of people are operating in guarantees which don't exist.
Yeah. Big up Kai, who says we should have sacked him ages ago. Now we have to wait until the summer because it doesn't make sense. Too, but let's be honest, can he actually win the Champions League, man? Then yeah, I think we've got the third or fourth best chance to win the Champions League of the 16 teams still remaining. Personally,
100% Arne Slot can win the Champions League. Will he? Don't know, but he could do. We've been very good in Europe this year. We've beaten a lot of top European teams this year.
Our best football's been in Europe. That's what's probably giving me the hope. Our best football.
We've got a squad that's built for European football.
Yeah, and you know, Tom, do you know the one thing that does annoy me a little bit about the way the fans have done things this season? And again, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but I do hate the way narratives keep changing to just keep attacking Slot. And again, I'm Slot out, but I do have to defend them, man, when I see it. Nobody thought that we were going to beat Real Madrid. We beat them. Then people downplayed it and said they played into our hands. Nobody said we were going to beat Inter Milan. Then everybody tried to say, oh, we got lucky. It was a penalty. It was a penalty. Like I'm saying, it was a foul. It was a penalty. And then everyone said we're going to get smashed by Marseille. And then when we beat them, everyone goes, oh, but Marseille ain't even that good. They played into our hands. Every time people have thought we're going to lose a European game and we've won, they've changed the narrative to not give him credit. And I don't like that. That's one thing I haven't liked about the way things have been done, because all three of those games were great wins. But nobody wanted to give the credit because everyone just still wants to put him down. And that's the part that I don't like. Do you know what I mean? Like that is the part where I'm a bit like, now, come on, guys. Regardless of whether you like him or not, he's still a Liverpool manager, and you should still be giving him credit when he deserves to be given that credit. Take the credit away when you want to take it away. I do. But also give the credit when the credit should be given. Don't change the narrative so you can keep running with your confirmation bias. You know what I mean? That's the part that bothers me about what people have been doing with Slot. Big up Faraz says, I'm so happy we didn't get the draw bracket Arsenal got, because it means Slot has to beat the best teams, and you can't do that through Fugazi, Chelsea's Champions League campaign. I suppose so. He's basically saying if we win it, we earned it. Whereas if we're on Arsenal side, we could have got to a semi-final and it could have been by fluke. I hear that. Which meant he would have more earned his right to stay if he does. I hear it. We are well past the point of firing the manager at this point, unless he goes on another 9 to 12 type run again. I'm guessing he means losing run. Man, I'm wasting too much time arguing hypothetical. Let's talk next 5 domestic games. We will get into that on Monday, my bro. We will get into that on Monday. Remember, we got to keep content for the following shows. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep it fair. 99% of the fan base will change their mind if we win, says no. Do you think that's true, Tom? If we actually did win the Champions League,
maybe not 99%, but I think a lot of people would. I think a lot of people would sit where we sit, Drift, where they're disappointed with how the season's gone, but they can't really justify sacking a manager who's just won the Champions League.
Yeah. I hear that. Big up AMD. Says, big up you, man. I hear all points, but But I see it like this. If we win the Champions League, it's like Istanbul. If you had the option to make wholesale changes after that, would you have done it? Same precise can run for the manager. Fair enough, G. Fair enough. Big up yourself as always, MD as well, man. Big up Shotgun. Says Spurs sacked Ange after winning a trophy. Big up yourself for being 49 months.
And Postecoglou finished 17th.
Yeah.
Arne Slot's going to finish 5th probably.
And there were actually some Spurs fans who still were like us, Tom. What we're saying.
A lot of Spurs fans didn't want him to lose his job either. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, because you got to be honest.
And they sacked him. They sacked him, and they're in a worse position.
Actually, there's some irony for you. They actually thought they were going to do better than the man who won their first trophy in 10 years. And now they're actually doing worse without him. So technically, they might have actually been better off if they'd kept him, to be honest. Big up Noor. Slot EPL and Champions League sack for Alonso Nagelsmann failed at big clubs. That's a point. They both didn't do well, respectively, at Bayern and Real Madrid. I would just be more worried, Tom, about not wanting to become. Because here's the thing. I know it might sound cheesy when you say it in a conversation where people are getting annoyed and emotional and stuff, but we are a family club who have morals and principles. Yes, I want to win, but I also want to have morals and principles. I don't want us to just become this club that every year we just got a new manager because that manager didn't win a trophy. I watch Real Madrid and they've got no soul, bro. Like I think to myself sometimes, how can you even enjoy being a fan of that team? Because outside of the wins, what is the connection with the team? Do you know what I mean? Because a manager usually helps to bring that stability and that consistency that gets that. If every week, every season, say you've got a new manager, wouldn't it feel weird and soulless to you? Like,
potentially. I'll be honest. We say all this now. An awful lot changes when you're good. Like, if the model was we go through managers every 2-3 years, but we're winning league titles every 2 years, I wouldn't really be all that bothered. It'd feel a bit meh.
No, take away the titles. I'm saying if we just keep sacking someone because they don't win.
That's 10 times worse because you're doing United then. That's 10 times worse.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's the point. Yeah.
But no one would feel happy in that situation, though. No club would be happy in that situation.
Well, but in that situation, I would still prefer give one of these managers the one. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, because all you're doing then is continuing a cycle that doesn't work. At some point, you have to change the cycle. The notion is that I'm not saying you said this. The notion is that some people go, even if we had a model where it was sack a manager every 3 years, but he wins a league and or a Champions League in that time, I still wouldn't want to do that. If you're putting guarantees on the table of what I'm going to win, I would probably do it. Because the best days of my life supporting this football club have been when we've won stuff. We all remember games, sure, but the best days are the parades or the day you win the thing. Not the... Do you remember that random match week 33 game against Leicester where we won 1-0? Oh, what a day that was. No, it's... What's your best moment of last year? Either the parade or the day we won it. Or the day you lifted the title, because it can be different, can't it?
Yeah, I hear it. Them man on Kopish be turning into AFTV, already assuming we're going to win the Champions League. We haven't assumed anything. It was a hypothetical of if we do win it. And with all due respect, some of the people you've named there, bro, are friends of mine. I'm not going to start doing it's like, because I can tell it's like in a form of disrespect as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, to be like, oh, are you like tight? What, because everyone thinks he's delusional? Like, come on, man. Like, we're not going to do that. Having an opinion on something factually does not make you delusional. What Ty says is sometimes is crazy, but I think I've backed up pretty much what I've said with actual facts and not feelings. So, big up Noor, who also says, if he had a set-piece coach, bad, you would say he's rude. Oh, if you'd have done the set,
I think for some people, Arne Slot could say the sky's blue, and they go, no, it's not. I think he's just pissed some people off to a degree that they can't come back from, and that he's caused that himself. But I do think it's a little bit harsh to judge him by.
Yeah, I hear that. People think players hate Slot because Ibu smiled when he got subbed. Yeah, because they're looking for confirmation bias, like Tom said.
Did Jordan Henderson hate Jurgen Klopp when he subbed him off at Old Trafford and he stormed past him and didn't shake his hand, or was he a professional who went? It was a moment. It was a mad moment, and it won't happen again, and it never happened again.
And you know what's crazy as well? Yeah, just back to the last super chat. Do you know everybody who supports a football team has said things that's wild? You know the only difference is the people in the comments. It's never saved for it to be judged later. We just put ourselves in the limelight where it can be frowned upon later. And no one remembers the good things you've said. Because the crazy thing is, I was one of like 4 people in the entire world that thought Liverpool could win the league last year and actually gave reasons as to why that actually came true. No one gives me the credit for that in terms of like, if I've said something wrong. No one goes, oh no, but that was on mine. He said that wrong because he said this good thing right. It's like, oh, forget that good thing. You say, oh, you said this crazy thing. Look, you're delusional of it. Like, this is just how it works. This is what we do and this is how it goes. I tell you one thing though, I can confidently say I've said more or got more things right than I've got wrong. So at the end of the day, I'm up ratio.
I also don't care if I get stuff wrong. At the end of the day, you're gonna get stuff wrong.
Yeah, it's football. It's football. That's just
it'd be boring if we got everything right. You wouldn't watch shows if all we were doing was saying the same things because it's gonna be right. Who gives a fuck?
You know. So, I have a potato sack ready any time. I'm trying to remember what that was in reference to. Or does he just mean like to put Slot in the bag? I guess.
Maybe that's what he means.
Yeah, I think so. Big up, okay. I think that's what you meant, bro. Slot wanted a Diaz replacement, and Hughes chose not to sign one. A huge mistake given how the wings have been. That wasn't Slot. That was on Hughes. That is true, and I think Slot has actually admitted that as well, right? You know what, Josh, pick up yourself, Josh. You did. I know you were one of the people. To be fair, there are a lot of people in the chat who've given me my credit. But what I'm saying is, when I do, if I say something that's wrong, it's just like, oh my God, you got that wrong. And no one goes, oh no, but we got that right. So like, it's just like concentrate on the wrong. But I get it. This is the job that we do. We put ourselves in a firing line. It is what it is. Josh as well. Hopefully you got my email as well, G. Just let me know if you got the email as well, broski. Big up Gals as always. Says if we win the Champions League, it's in spite of Slot. Get me Cesc.
I like Cesc isn't ready yet. Cesc isn't ready yet. And I'm a big. I was the one who put Drift onto Cesc.
Yeah, you were. You actually were.
But I'm telling you right now, Cesc Fabregas is not ready. He's still at least 1 year away from this. I mean, I don't know if you saw the other day. I think it was 2 match weeks ago. Cesc Fabregas caused a load of shit because AC Milan were on the counter attack, or they just won the ball back on the sideline, and I can't remember who it was for AC Milan. Picks it up and turns to run, and Fabregas just grabs his shirt and stops him from running.
Shit! Did he? Did he get a red card?
No. Kicked off afterwards because he didn't get sent off, and then Allegri saw him afterwards and called him like a child and petulant and this, that, and the other. Honestly.
Oh shit! No, I didn't know. He did. Yeah, you can't be doing that. That's crazy.
Cesc isn't ready yet. Very good manager. Like a lot of his principles, he's not ready yet. He's still a year or two away.
But what I would worry about though, Tom, is that one of the other clubs get him and then we don't get the opportunity to get him. That's what
you could do, but I wouldn't worry about that if I had a manager that I trusted. So if I had Nagelsmann, who is my first choice, I'm probably not going to sit there when Fabregas goes Arsenal or something going, gutted we didn't get him, because I reckon I'd be quite happy with what I've got. It was like when we had Klopp and you were seeing Tuchel go here or whoever go there. I was never sitting there going, wish I could have had that. It was a case, I'm quite happy with what I've got. It's only when you've not got who you want in charge that you'll be a bit frustrated, but I don't expect to be in that situation when Cesc's on the market.
Yeah, I hear that. Gas says, Drift, is that low-key on stream with you? I think it's because you got your hair back now, isn't it? So, and Noor also says, Slot better beat Galatasaray after all the defending I've done. Yeah, I hear that, right? I hear that. But yeah, people, it's been a pleasure. Tom, big up your damn self as always, my bro. Thank you for all the super chats as well, guys, and your continued contribution to the channel. And at the end of the day, it's all love. We argue, we disagree. this is what football family does, and then we all come together for the greater good, which is a Liverpool win at the end of the day, which hopefully we will get at the weekend.
We've just spent an hour and 40 minutes on stream arguing, and then we'll be messaging each other at some point tonight going, good show that, lads. Enjoyed that.
That's how it goes. This is why we love it. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what? I actually think that it's actually admirable how much we argue and how healthy our friendships are, because it just shows it's just the nature of how it is. Do you know what I mean? So
football should never get too serious, especially debates like this. We have our opinions, but I'd never say anything, and none of you guys ever say anything to personally attack someone else, and that's where some of these debates lose me. Yeah.
And sometimes I see that happen where other people get personal. It's like, we really didn't need to go there. It just didn't need to go there. That was so unnecessary. But yeah. And also, people, make sure you scan that QR code and get through to OK Jersey, where you can get great football shirts for a great price, guys. £15 roughly. And you also get that extra 8% off if you add the code Kopish at checkout. And trust me, guys, like I said, go and look at some of the, I mean, I tell you personally, guys, I'm getting the new Senegal World Cup kit with Sadio on the back. I have to. And I'm getting the new Jamaica top. It's so nice. It is so good. So, guys, do not hesitate. Get over there. And even the new Senegal kit, it's not just because it's Mane, Tom. It's beautiful. I don't know if you've seen it, but the one they're going to wear in the World Cup, the green one, it's beautiful, man. I can't wait.
I haven't, no. I normally only look at them once they're actually playing. I'm not one of them.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not an international kit collector like that.
What about the Holland kits over the years? Them beautiful Holland kits, bruv. You never been into the Holland? Bruv, I love them.
I don't collect. I collect club kits more so than international kits.
Okay, fair dues. Do you know what's funny as well? Just briefly, you know, Keys Schmidt, the young Dutchman that we've been linked with. I'm quite surprised no one's done another Dutchman thing again. Because like it is a bit ironic. It's another Dutchman.
Wait for the links to get a bit more prevalence, and then it'll happen.
Yeah, maybe. Because that's the first thing I thought. Oh, everyone's gonna kick off now. Another Dutch person we've been linked with. Bloody hell. But yeah, people, it's been a pleasure. Big up your damn selves, and we will see you back here at 5 o'clock for the call-in show. 5 o'clock. I know it's a little bit earlier than normal this week, guys, but we will be back at 5 o'clock for the call-in show. So we'll see you there. And then I also will be doing the Villa game tonight as well, guys, on my Big Up channel. So if you want to come and join me in the top 4 race, I'm going to be keeping an eye on all the teams now that are in the top 4 race. So Villa, as Tom rightly said, I think they're getting dragged into this. Before, I used to think it was cut and dry. Villa were going to get top 3.
They'll win tonight.
Not anymore. Probably. But can Wolves, it's away though. So Wolves might do what they did to Arsenal and take points off them. You never know.
They will win tonight.
Look, I'm keeping positive, bro. I'm keeping positive. But yeah, people, we'll catch you at 5. Big up your damn selves, and we're out of here. Peace.